Man, it's crazy what's happening with roofs out here, especially in North Carolina. I'm going to give you a list of some of the other states that you need to pay attention to. So I'm in CE class. I'm Kathy Wearns, by the way. Stay tuned for lots of information about roofs. So I'm in CE class, and I've been hearing rumblings about this because I don't deal that much with buyers, but I have a listing that just came up, and the house was 1999. I'm in North Carolina. And I noticed on her property disclosure that she said it was the original roof. Well, this is 2025, 1999. Yikes, we're 26 years old, right? Yeah, I can do math. And I'm thinking, holy cow. But she had just replaced the track. She ripped out the front deck and did it all with tracks, redid it. She bought this house, or her and her husband bought this house 4 years ago in 2021 when the market was crazy. And so they ended up paying 75,000 over list because it was in a cool area, very popular and coveted. So we figured, she was going to live there a while. Well, 4 years later, she's ready to move on. Okay, I'm like, ooh. And in the meantime, she'd also done, by the time we added the front porch, she'd done now, I think it was 110, $11,000 worth of changes to the house. A lot of it was maintenance work, right? But the roof was not done. So here I am in CE class, and they're talking about roofs. And because we're in North Carolina, I took it as it was national, but it isn't necessarily national, but it kind of is. You'll see what I mean. So in North Carolina, it's a really big deal. Now, my client's sister is a State Farm agent. Well, not just an agent, she owns a couple of franchises. So I called her up and I said, hey, here's how old the roof is. What's her luck of getting insurance, whether it's through you or anybody else? She goes, slim, next to none. And she said, I can get her insurance, but whoever the person is that's going to buy this has to get a new roof on within 60 days. So you'd have to negotiate all that. Well, that's all well and good. But if you're getting a loan and I'm trying to get multiple offers on this property, this is going to be a problem, right? So I said to my client, we're going to have to get a new roof. Otherwise, we're going to have a problem, especially if we want to try and get multiple offers. Even if we got a cash buyer, if there's that roof hanging out there and the lender says, oh, heck no, we are not going to insure that roof. Even if you tried to do a little workaround where you said, well, don't insure the roof, which is not wise. The lender's unlikely going to insure that house, which means that the whole loan will fall apart and then all this is for nothing. So, no, we need her to do the roof. Fortunately, she has the funds to do the roof. She did the roof. Now, we're going live, as a matter of fact, tomorrow. And I'm able to now put that she's got a new roof on there, which is great. So that also, were we able to change our price because of it? Yeah, because it justified it. You got a 1999 roof on it. Everybody knows you're going to have to replace it. So we discounted the price because of the age of the roof originally. Now we back the cost of that roof in. Thank goodness. It's only a little over $11,000 only, not my money. But still, we needed to do it. And now it's a selling feature because that's one thing they don't have to do on a 1999 house. And it's a bigger bill, right? And they'd already done all the other major stuff. So I thought, well, I need to find out more about this. I need to let agents know, especially in North Carolina, that we get a problem. And then I said, what other states are doing it? So I have a cheat list that I'm going to look at right now. So North Carolina, most carriers won't write a policy on a roof older than 15 to 20 years. And the way that I'm hearing from the insurance agents, it's 15, that's it. Unless it's been replaced or certified. I don't know what the certified part is. Florida, ground zero, it says. Roofs 10 to 15 years have to be replaced to be insurable. 4-point inspections are required there. Texas is hail prone in different regions like Dallas Fort Worth. It says many carriers cap roof payouts based on age and require actual cash value policies only on older roofs. See, that's a problem. So, California, with the fires that it's had, that's a crisis. Colorado, hail, Louisiana, high storm claims, other states that have issues, Georgia, South Carolina, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Arizona, especially with monsoon damage. I didn't even know we had monsoons. And what's driving it? All the claims. There's insurance claims happening. My gal with the State Farm, she's in my networking group. For her, she talks about it all the time. She goes, different carriers are just pulling out of different states. all the time because they've got such heavy losses, which makes sense, right? It says many carriers are still offering coverage if the roof is under 20 years old in North Carolina. That hasn't been true based on what I'm seeing. So, what are you going to do? So here's what I did. I told her, and thank God she had the money to do it. If she didn't, there's workarounds too, and I'll come back to that. She did it. It's a strong selling feature. We upped the price, so everything's going to work out. And I already have 6 potential showings for the property because it's such a coveted area. And my marketing's great and all that good stuff. I'm hoping to have multiple offers by Sunday. That's my vision. But let's talk about if your client couldn't afford to do this. How could they? Well, the first thing that I would be doing is talking to insurance carriers that would cover the house before you even listed it. I'd want to have these answers because I'd want to know, can the sellers afford to factor in the cost of the roof? So I'd have a good roofer out there. I'd get a quote on that roof. I'd have it inspected and I'd get a quote. And I probably would get multiple quotes unless you got a great guy like I do that I trust. So I would be doing my homework on this because the roofs are a big deal. They'll blow a loan in a nanosecond in many cases. I'd want a lender that already said, yes, we would be willing to do a loan based on the qualifications of your buyer, right? And maybe even do it with a couple. I don't know. But I don't know about you, but I have a team that I work with all the time. I've got my favorite lender, I've got my insurance people, I've got my handyman, I've got my plumber, my HVAC guy. I got all the guys. I got a guy. So I work with an army that I can count on, that I can trust to tell me straight stuff. And my clients know that about me. Even if they're referred to me, they've already been told, Kathy comes with an army of people that you can count on. So I'd want that lender to say, tell me this roof is insurable, that this house can be okayed through a loan through you. I'd already have gone to the roofers number 1, insurance companies number 2, lenders number 3. That's what's all got to do, right? I'd need to know timelines, costs, all the factors. I'd have open conversations with my sellers. Now, if they couldn't afford to do the roof, then we would say, how can we do this where if they took the funds out of closing and it was going to be cut to the person, so the day after it closes, it all gets done, and the attorney holds the check and pays the roofer, not the client. So it's going to be done and get everybody's approval. So you got to bring the attorney in. That's another piece there. Can this all be done? So I would think that that would work. Now you got to make sure it would work with all your peeps to do it. But these roofs are a real big deal. I know it's a selling point now for me that I've got it done. It was worth even raising the price. We still have 6 showings getting done in the very first 2 days. I'm doing an open house there to even bring more people in and do lots of marketing, blah, blah, blah. So, see what I'm talking about, roofs? So, you may not have even thought this. You may not have even known that this was an issue. This is something that you got to wake up to. I was naive on it because a lot of the homes that I've worked with they're updated. So I haven't had to even think that. Most of them didn't have roofs older than 6 or 7 years old. But it got me thinking because my roof is 9 years old. Shoot. Now, here's the other thing. If you're already insured, you get to stay insured unless your insurance company cancels you. But just food for thought. Start paying attention to those roofs, people, right? Buyers and sellers like, and have a plan. I'm telling you, when you go on a listing appointment, you may want to do a little homework like, does that roof look new or old and you're on the roof? That would be where I would start my conversation so that I knew that I could have, if I'm going to hit a roadblock, I want to know it as quickly as I can, right? So that's my topic on roofs today. If you like this kind of stuff, hey, subscribe below and stay tuned for more. But in the meantime, I'm going to invite you to a Facebook group that I've got that is very powerful because it's full of all kinds of new data, and we're looking for collaboration from agents. I don't care what firm you're with. There's no drama here. There's no recruiting here. This is about empowerment. Should have named it empowerment. I may have to change that. Anyway, so I do lots and lots and lots of AI stuff in there because I'm an AI nut, and I believe you need to be because that's where our business is. So that's called Real Estate Riches. The link will be below. And I invite you to come join that and participate. Learn, grow. You can sit in the back burner and just kind of absorb it and grow if you don't want to share. But I'm going to tell you, this is where empowerment is. When agents share stuff and not treat each other as competition. It's important, just saying. So if you like that, then join us because I'd love to have you on there. Otherwise, please subscribe and share this with your friends. I'll see you on the next one.